So you're thinking about moving to Bend, Oregon or somewhere else in Central Oregon, but you got to sell your house first where you're at. Or you live in Bend right now, or maybe Redmond, and you want to learn how to sell your house on your own without a realtor. Okay, that's fine. We can talk about that right now. That's exactly what we're going to be covering in today's video. In fact, we're going to give you 8 steps. Okay, there are 8 common mistakes made when somebody tries to sell their home on their own without the use or the hiring of a licensed real estate professional. So if this video sounds like it's for you, stick around. We're going to be touching on those 8 right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, playing, working, the good and the bad, selling your home on your own, then subscribe to the channel. Tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Bend and Central Oregon. My name's Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. My business partner, Zach, and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help on making their smooth move to Bend or anywhere else here in Central Oregon. Sunny Central Oregon. It's October, it's still sunny out. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or set up that Zoom meeting. We'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Bend or anywhere else here in Central Oregon. So with that being said, okay, let's jump into this topic today. We're talking about the 8 colossal mistakes that homeowners commonly make before they put their home up for sale. So a lot of people will hire a licensed real estate professional to help them with that process. Others think that they can do it on their own. Now, I will honestly say that it kind of depends on the state of the market. A couple years ago, when everything was just going like hotcakes, maybe you could just put it up on the market and you get an offer within a couple hours. I mean, that was the reality. Now things are a little bit different. The market is slowed down. That's by design. And now it takes a lot longer of a process to get a offer on the home that's up for sale. And then it also takes a little bit longer to get through that escrow period as well. So the point is that is now a time to be doing something like that on your own? I don't know. That's totally up to you. But here are the 8 commonly made mistakes by those that are trying to sell their home on their own without the use of a realtor to help them through this process. So let's get right into it right now. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, overpricing your home. Okay, this is a commonly held and commonly seen mistake by people that are trying to sell their home on their own. Sometimes even realtors will do it just for the sake of getting a listing. They meet with somebody, they talk about the value of a home, and they have this big idea like they can get a little bit more than what the home is actually valued at. And especially if you're selling the home on your own as a FSBO, okay? People have lived in those homes that are selling the homes commonly for up to 10 years or even beyond 10 years. I think the average time of living in a home in which is sold by an owner is up to 14 years now. And so there's a lot of emotional attachment to that home. And when somebody puts that up on the market on their own without any outside counsel that have no emotional attachment to the home, they can often get skewed with what number they feel is just when it comes to getting that price or that home sold. And so someone who's trying to sell the home on their own is going to say, put the house up for sale for 5%, 10%, 20% more than what the actual fair market value of the home is. And then the home just kind of sits there and there's no calls coming in from other realtors trying to schedule a showing. And then all of a sudden after a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, it just sits there and the listing gets stale and more stale. And all of a sudden there's no sense of urgency from other realtors thinking like, okay, we better go check this home out with my client because somebody else might go in there and put an offer on it before us. That's not really what happens if a home is appropriately priced. And so what you want to do, even if you're going to be selling the home on your own, is get a CMA, a comparative market analysis of your home. How do you do that? Well, you can try and do that on your own. You can Google how to do that, but I wouldn't necessarily just resort to a Zillow Zestimate as a means for pricing your home because those things are all over the map day in and day out. There's a lot of people that just look at the Zillow or the Zestimate of their own home every single day, wondering what their house is worth, and it fluctuates by $10,000 or $20,000 each and every day. So how could you appropriately price your home if you didn't get a CMA that is typically done by a licensed real estate professional if you can't do it yourself? So that's number 1. You gotta first of all price your home appropriately before it goes to market. Number 2, okay? Selling at the wrong time. When is the right time to sell? When is the wrong time to sell? Well, there's generally no real wrong time to sell. There is a better time to sell. If you're going to prepare your home for sale over the next 12 months, sometime in the next year, you might consider putting it on the market in the spring season as things start to rev up. Okay, typically speaking, the fall period is when it slows down. Late in the fall, November, December, the holiday season is when it's really slow. There's just too much going on as outside distractions for anybody that's truly, genuinely in the market. Now, there's still a small percentage of people that have to move or they have to sell. So those are going to move, okay? Those are going to sell even in December, in late December, during the primary portion of the holiday season, right? Christmas and New Year's. But outside of that, those that are in the market in December can push it off to January or February or March. And oftentimes there's going to be a flood of inventory that comes into the market in the spring season when people start to wake up again from the winter slumber and all that. And so is that a good time to sell? Is that a good time to put it on the market? Maybe, might be a little bit better of a time. There could be more buyers in the market. People tend to move around a little bit more, but you definitely want to have the right time in mind when you're putting it up for sale. Now, if you've lived in that home for more than X amount of years, and then you've also lived out of that same home for up to 5 years, you need to be mindful of whether or not it's going to be classified as your primary residence or as a investment property. Say you moved out of the house and you rented it out for 4 years, and all of a sudden you have 1 year left for that 5th year. Okay, the 5th year is kind of the crossover year from where it goes to a primary residence into a investment property. If you sell that house that was your primary residence 5 years ago as a investment property, well, then you're going to have a different type of capital gains tax to pay on that home once you sell. So you need to be mindful of that as well. If it's a primary residence, you're in a different tax classification than if you're selling it as an investment property. So you definitely want to keep that in mind when it comes to the timing of the sale of your home. Number 3, okay, skipping on simple repairs. When you're getting your home for sale, it's important to walk through the house. Pretend like you're the buyer walking through, okay? You obviously want some curb appeal, but simple repairs matter, okay? Light fixtures, simple paint touch-ups, making sure the appliances work, things of that nature, okay? If I'm walking through a home pretending like I'm a buyer and pretending like I see myself in this home, I'm going to go to the kitchen. I'm going to go to the bathrooms. I'm going to go to the bedrooms. I'm going to check them out. I'm going to pretend like I'm behaving as if this is my home. And if I see something like a loose knob, or if I see like a curtain rod that's crooked, or the blinds are dirty, that's not necessarily going to be attractive for me as a potential buyer. I'm a buyer in the market, or if you're a buyer in the market, you're going to be seeing more than just that one home, okay? So you want to make sure that the little things are all taken care of. Make sure the light bulbs are the way they're supposed to be, okay? They're screwed in right, they're working, they're functioning, bright lights are good. You got to make sure that the little things are done, the little repairs that matter. Make sure that garage door is working, make sure that screen door fastens the way it's supposed to. The little things matter, and they don't take a lot of time to get done when you're preparing it for sale. Oftentimes, people that are trying to sell the home on their own, they'll just throw it onto the market and they'll forget some of the things that they just forgot about because they've lived there for so long. They take it for granted, or they don't notice them anymore. But when you're putting it up for sale, you got to make sure that the little repairs are taken care of, so you put out the best impression possible when you have potential buyers coming through. Number 4, failing to prep and stage. Now, it's one thing to have an empty house, a vacant home that people can walk through and they can pretend what it looks like when it's fully furnished, okay? Or you can do those potential buyers a favor and just stage it yourself. So then their creative mind starts to get flowing once they see what the staging looks like. Get a table in there in the dining room, get some furniture in the living room, a TV up there. Help them envision themselves living in that home by staging it. Okay, a lot of times in a certain neighborhood, a home that's vacant will sell right away because of the location alone. But if you're in a more competitive market or a more competitive neighborhood, you're gonna wanna go the extra mile and do something that otherwise separates that home from the next door or from the next home over that's for sale, that same prospective buyer is going to go look at right after they leave your open house or that showing. So keep that in mind. do the necessary things to get the home staged and prepared for sale. It also shows that you are committed to getting it done and you want to give that buyer the best possible experience upon entry of the home the first time when they see it. Number 5, not hiring a professional photographer for your professional home sale pictures. Okay, everybody's got an iPhone or a Droid. They've got a 3-pixel, 4-pixel, whatever pixel camera they got these days. They think they can take their own pictures. Okay, get yourself a licensed or a professional photographer. Just get it done. It costs $200, maybe $250, depending on the home. But they will go in there, they will tell you the time of day, they will look at the weather patterns, they'll figure out when the best time to take those pictures are, what angles to take them at, and then you own those pictures. Those are professional pictures, and they are going to do wonders for the help of selling your home. Okay, obviously you've heard that notion before, a picture's worth 1,000 words. When you get those pictures uploaded to Zillow or maybe an MLS or something like that, where hundreds, maybe thousands of people can sift through, and then you have the recording on Zillow where it says how many people have actually viewed it, how many people have actually saved it, then all of a sudden now you got some social proof going. The pictures do a lot of help when it comes to getting that type of the volume of eyeballs onto your listing. Okay, that's something that you do not want to skim over or be cheap on. You just go ahead and pay for it, get it done, and those pictures then belong to you, and they will work wonders for helping you get your home sold. Okay, number 6, curb appeal. Do not skip out on curb appeal. Okay, if it's the summertime, okay, get some landscaping done, get some new soil in there. Just make sure that all the shrubs are taken out, make sure it's hedged, make sure the lawn is mowed. Okay, all the little things that you want to do to make sure that when that prospective buyer shows up for the very first time, they're looking at the outside. Okay, curb appeal matters. A lot of times sellers, especially in a certain state of the market where they think they can do it themselves, they skip over this. They get lazy and they just throw it out there onto the market because they don't think that a licensed real estate agent or someone else with another set of eyes and opinions on how to get something sold, like a home, your biggest investment, matters. Okay, just throw it onto the market and let whatever happens. That's not necessarily the case, especially in a state of the market where interest rates are as high as they've been in over 25 years. Okay, so when you get a prospective buyer showing up to your home in this market right now, you better treat them like royalty, because you don't get that influx of prospective buyers like we had 2 years ago. Okay, if you have a buyer showing up to your home right now to take a look at the home, they are seriously considering buying, because there's no skipping around right now. I mean, why would you waste your time unless you are potentially in a position to make an offer on your home? You want to make sure that the curb appeal out front and in the back is up to speed, so you can make the best possible impression when that prospective buyer shows up. Because remember, there are just not so many buyers out there in the market right now, and that is by design. So treat them like royalty when they show up and give them the right curb appeal. Number 7, here we go. Okay, we're getting up there now. Okay, forgetting closing costs. Okay, you've got your price. Okay, you're selling this thing on your own. You're representing yourself. Maybe you have a full-time job and you're starting to get calls from agents, and they want to know when they can show the house. And you're leaving work in the middle of the day or during your lunch hour or in the evenings, and all of a sudden it becomes kind of a drag, right? This is kind of a job. I got to show my house. I got to get my house available for sale and show. Maybe if I had a real estate agent, that would be a little bit easier to do. But right now I got to focus on making sure that I'm available and the house is open so I can show it, get the lights on, get them ready to show. Once your buyer walks into the house, they see themselves in the house, right? That's the first impression you want to make. You get your price set the way it should be, or maybe it's competitive, but then you forget about the closing costs and all the little steps that go forward after you go under contract. Say you get that offer that you're looking for. Now what? You've got a 45-day escrow period. Do you know what to do next? Okay. Do you know how to calculate the closing costs? Do you know what the inspection period looks like? Do you know how to get title insurance? Do you know how to open up escrow? Do you know how to get provide access for the home for an appraisal? There's all kinds of little things that matter when you are representing yourself. And don't forget those closing costs. Oftentimes, people that are selling the home on their own, they typically overlook what the closing costs are, and that that really eats into their bottom line when it comes time to actually show up on closing day to collect the money and the proceeds from the sale of your home. So if you're selling the home on your own, make sure you are aware of the percentage of closing costs associated with the price. Number 8. Okay, number 8, here we go. This is the final one, the final mistake that people tend to make when they are trying to sell their home on their own. They don't hire an agent, okay? Okay, like we talked about earlier in the video, it's like depends on the state of the market. Right now, the market's really tough, right? We're at 8% interest rates. We haven't seen those since before 2000. Okay, these are really high interest rates right now. So you want to treat those buyers like gold. You don't want to be late for a showing. You want to make sure that you're available to show the house when they can see it, because those buyers are fewer and fewer in between each other. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you can do it. And if you can't be available all the time for a prospective buyer, then hire an agent. That's what they're there. That's what we're here to do for, right? We take care of the paperwork. We'll take care of the open houses. Oftentimes, homes sit on the market for days on end now. Okay, the average days on market in Bend at least is over 20. Redmond, it's over 20 as well. 2 years ago, it was about 4 or 5. Okay, you put your house on the market, you might get a call that day, you might get an offer at the end of that same day that you put it on the market. Now it's a little different. Okay, we're getting back to more of a healthy state of the market. You're going to have buyers that have options. Okay, there's a little bit more out there. They know, buyers also know that who they're competing against now are way less volumes of other potential buyers than 2 years ago. So they can go look around. They can play that cat and mouse game with you too. Like, okay, I'll let you know. I'll think about it. They don't necessarily have to put that offer in the same day that they see the home. So where does a real estate agent come in? They help you with that process, right? And when you finally get that offer, sometimes it's going to take 10 showings. Sometimes it's going to take 20 showings. We've got houses on the market that are going pending right now in Central Oregon that have been sitting on the market for 50, 60, 70 days, okay? They started at a certain price, just a little bit too high. They came down a little bit, but they waited patiently for the right buyer to come along, and they didn't have to reduce their price to the point where it was just not making sense by the numbers any longer. But once you get under contract, okay, that's when the real work starts. Okay, have a real estate agent conduct that work for you. Okay, the paperwork, the checkpoints, the milestones, all the timestamps associated with getting to the finish line, which is closing day, 45 days typically after the contract is signed. Okay, and if you want to do that yourself, that's fine. You can do it, or you can have a licensed real estate agent take care of that for you. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you can get it done yourself, great. If not, consider Zach and myself as your trusted real estate agents when it comes time to not only buy a home, but also sell your home here in Central Oregon. Or if you need a referral from where you're at right now on your way to Central Oregon, we can help you with that as well, as we have a large referral network. So with that being said, those are the 8 costly mistakes that most people make or fail to consider before they put their house on the market on their own. Thank you guys for watching. If it's your time to reach out to us, please do so. It starts with you guys. If you guys are ready to start talking about homes in this area, please do so. If you want to put your house up for sale, we'd love to come by and tell you what your house is worth and get you guys in the best and most competitive position possible to make the most money when you sell that house. It starts with you guys. Call us, text us, email us, set up a Zoom call. It doesn't matter to us, but it starts with you guys. You got to reach out to us. And as always, like the video if you haven't done so. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And maybe drop a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what else we can cover with this channel. That's our goal with the channel, to try to provide as much value as possible. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.